Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another Zendikar Rising draft. To the few people who have posted public complaints, I haven't gotten a quieter mouse yet, but I promise one is on its way from Amazon, and because I live relatively close to a Amazon distribution center, it should be here within the next 2 days from the time of this video, which is one day after it's recorded. So hopefully, within the next couple of days, you don't have to listen to my incessant clicking anymore. So, also, I haven't started the draft because I wanted to highlight this person's name is Kabu 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 Chameleon. Anyway, let's get started, shall we? I'll see you guys when the draft starts. Alrighty, so, because I need this for some decks coming up, I'm going to take Seagate Restoration here. I think this card is not necessarily playable in limited, like it is, but it isn't. I think with all of the extra lands, it actually might be pretty good. We're gonna see. I need this anyway, so I'm gonna take it. We could have taken Relic Golem and tried to force mill, which might have been fun. Okay, I think taking Base Camp is gonna be good here. We don't know exactly what colors we want to be in, and there are a few strong signals. Actually, oh shoot. Yeah, we gotta take Royal Eruption. I was going to say, it's either like Rabid Bite, Base Camp, or Royal Eruption, and Royal Eruption is very good. Scale the Heights also is a card that I'm a little bit excited about because it's Explore Plus for 3 mana, but I think Royal Eruption is too good to pass. Expedition Diviner is a pretty good spell. The blue-red archetype is like Wizard's Prowess spells kind of a deal, and Expedition Diviner fits into that archetype a little bit better than Skyclave Squid does. Although Skyclave Squid is a kind of aggressive attacker. There's also the 5-mana 3/3 Flying Flash that appears in several sets. That's a common thing in blue nowadays. I think Expedition Diviner is a little bit better. Okay? So in this pack we have Legion Angel, which actually, if I got a second one, would be amazing. And I think is worth taking. Synchronized Spellcraft is a very good removal spell, although it is a little bit expensive. And Concerted Defense is a pretty decent 1-mana counter. So this is kind of a tough pick for me. And Spell Shield's really not bad either. I think I'm going to take the hard removal over the counterspell, because I think it's a little less situational. But that does kind of cement us into Izzet a little bit harder. So we got a Merfolk Cleric in blue, which helps with some of the party stuff. Vastwood Fortification. Interesting. Okay. Field Research. Just having Divination is good. I think it's better than the Cleric. I think there's plenty of time to pick up creatures yet. Spell Shield wouldn't be bad. And Scavenge Blade is more for like the red-white archetype than it is for what we're doing here. Sorry, I just realized I'm like leaning out of frame. We'll take the Field Research. Okay. Lull Mage's Domination. Mind control effects are incredibly strong, and in fact, so about the time of New Phyrexia, there was a mind control effect printed at Uncommon, and it was one of the strongest cards in the format, if I recall, just because taking your opponent's best thing and making them answer it is incredibly powerful, and I'm really surprised, even with like it being this expensive, that they decided to print a mind control at Uncommon, especially a permanent one that you can't just like blow up the enchantment that's doing the thing. So now we have the choice between a Royal Mage, which we can use to pick up instants and sorceries, another Synchronized Spellcraft, which I think is very good, or another Expedition Diviner. I think the Diviner is slightly better than the Royal Mage. I think we're going to see more of these than we are of these. And Synchronized Spellcraft is very good. I would be very happy if I could get one at any point. We got a blue Rogue, which you can tap another Rogue, and it can't be blocked, and whenever it deals combat damage, draw a card. That seems great. Into the Royal is one of the best blue commons in the set, and there's a Zulaport Duelist. I think I gotta take this Rogue. We're gonna see more Into the Royal. Anti-Cognition is another card I'm actually considering running in Battle of Wits. It's a fairly decent mana leak, like, or Rune Snag effect. Okay. In this pack, what does Skyclave Sentinel do? Probably nothing for this particular deck. I don't want to overload in the 4-drop slot, and we are a little light on creatures. Scorch Rider is kind of nice. I'm also considering Tormenting Voice. I think we take the Scorch Rider. Okay. Cascade Seer is technically playable in our deck. So it looks like we're going to be a much slower control deck. So I'm really looking for the blue, anything that's blue-red that has the whole, what do you call it? Land on the backside mechanic, modal dual-faced cards. I think Concerted Defense, yeah, I'll take a Concerted Defense. Scavenged Blade is not bad. Field Research. For a control deck, we're going to want to draw a lot of cards. And hey, Cup Island. Slightly different Cup Island. Wow. Okay, well, I'm glad that I stuck to these colors, but I'm a little upset that I have no choice but to pass cards in my colors and send signals that they're going to be open. So this is more for the landfall shenanigans, but this is an incredibly powerful mythic beater, and one of the ways we can win the game. And I think this is worth taking. Okay, Risen Riptide. We don't really have anything with Kicker, necessarily. Teeter Peak Ambusher is a cheaper creature that can come down early, and I'm pretty happy about this. Inordinate Rage would be good if we were more aggressive and less controlling, so we'll take the Ambusher. I don't want to take Cascade Seer because we have so many 4-drops already. Not without multiple, if I could get 2 more Royal Eruptions, or a couple of Into the Royals, maybe we could slow the game down enough that that would be okay. I don't want to take Scavenged Blade either. It might be best to just take Seagate Colossus, because we're kind of doing, we kind of have some different party members here. We've got a couple of Warriors, some Wizards, a Rogue. I think speculating on this is probably the way to go, even though our curve is so expensive right now. Synchronized Spellcraft. Yeah, I think I'll take another one. So we're looking right now for ways that we can lower our curve or control more early. So early removal, defensive creatures, that kind of a thing right now. Okay, Umara Mystic is a 2-color card in our colors. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery or wizard spell, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. It's a 1/3 flyer. Oh, so it's basically We Dragonauts. Or a similar creature. It's not necessarily We Dragonauts. And there's also a Stonework Pack Beast, which we would not mind picking up 1 or 2 before the end of this draft. I will take the Mystic, though. Rockslide Sorcerer is also another card that is very good in decks like ours, because we have so many instants and sorceries, and this is a way to buy additional value out of them. Okay. Brushfire Elemental, we're not playing green. Akum Hellhound, whenever a land enters the battlefield, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. So this is a very aggressive creature. This is like a Step Lynx, but in red, which I kind of like. It's probably good enough to see play, but we're not really doing tempo things. We're trying to do controlling things. I think I'm going to take Cleansing Wildfire, just for constructed applications. Same thing, I think I'm going to take Cleansing Wildfire for constructed applications, because I don't really need anything in this pack. We're almost certainly not playing any more colors than we have right now. Sneaking Guide is early, but aggressive. This is generally more for, I think, the red-white archetype, or maybe red-green. Spell Shield is not bad to have. I think Spell Shield is better than Negate in the average case. Negate might have higher upside if your opponent has expensive planeswalkers and stuff like that. I'll take another Seagate Colossus. I don't know that I'm playing both, but we'll find out. Island, just because it's pretty. We're not playing any of these, so I'm going to just take the uncommon. Same thing here, I think. Actually really like this card. It's kind of guaranteed value for green, which is nice. Getting more green sideboarding options and a swamp. I'm sad. I really liked the full art swamps that had the, what's it called? The purple haze on them that was Zendikar related. I really liked that. Cunning Geyser Mage is nice. I don't think we can take this Angel of Destiny. I will if it's worth a ton, but I don't like rare drafting that much. Yeah, no, it's not worth anything, so. Okay, Spikefield Hazard's also not bad. Ardent Electromancer is an interesting take on Burning Tree Emissary, Priest of Urabosk creatures that red occasionally gets. It can ritual, but only if you have a full party, which is not likely. I think we take the Spikefield Hazard because it's the option of removal or a land early, and I like that. Okay. Another Lull Mage's Domination. Another Royal Eruption. And a Salundi Vision. So this card is insane, but it's also expensive. Salundi Vision is great because it's a land as well as like an impulse, and it can get us like our great big spells that we have in the form of Lull Mage's Domination. But I think we take Royal Eruption. Just 3 mana, 3 damage, 2 mana is very efficient removal in this format from what I've seen. And the fact that it has kicker and you can go like max value on it is a really nice upside to have. So Zareth-san the Trickster has ninjutsu effectively, and you can reanimate a creature and it has flash. I like it, but we don't have any way to fix for black. And we're not in colors that really have fixing. I think I just take another Expedition Diviner. Ooh, here's a card that I was actually looking forward to trying to take. The uncommon Censor variant that you can also play as a land tap. I think this card actually has a place in some decks in Eternal formats. That might be a bold thing for me to say, but I'm kind of sad that I had to pass a Molten Blast for that. But our colors are like really open right now. I think we take Molten Blast. Umara Mystic will come around unless somebody is playing blue-red, or they're splashing into 3 colors in this draft. Maybe we take the Mystic. We could go more tempo that way and cut some of our like higher cost stuff. Yeah, alright, we'll do that. I don't feel great about it, but I think it's fair. We have so many 4-drops to pick from. I think I'm just going to take a 3rd Field Research, and I'm probably not playing 3. Sack a creature, draw a card, as long as you control a cleric. No, that's too expensive. Attach to a creature to get flying. I'll take a Living Tempest. Kazul's Fury. Fling, but also land. I think this is fair, especially considering we have 2 Umara Mystics. I'm so sad that all of our cards are showing up in packs together instead of being spaced out among the packs. I will take the Fury, though. Having lots of these lands. So I played a Sealed to kind of learn the format a little bit better and find out what was powerful and see what I was running against. And I think I went 7-2 across all 3 stages of a friendly Sealed, which was pretty good. But like, having efficient removal seems to be really important, and having a lot of these like modal dual land kind of things is very important as well. Okay, now we have to pick between a Geyser Mage and a Molten Blast. We actually have a decent amount of removal, and I think the Mage is probably where we want to go, because I'd like to have a few more cards in the 3-drop slot, because we're not playing 3 Field Researches, and we're not playing these Colossi, so we really only have like 13 creatures at most right now. So we'll take the Geyser Mage, especially it being so close to the end of the draft here. We could take Cascade Seer and at least get through a lot of our deck. Spitfire Legok might actually give us some reach in the late game. Risen Riptide's a little ambitious. We don't have that many things with kicker. I guess I'll put that in the sideboard because I don't mind having it. I will take Risen Riptide. I will take another Risen Riptide. A Zendikar that we can't play. And, ooh, I like that island. That's a pretty island. I'll move that to the sideboard. Alright, so let's group creatures separately and take a look at what we're looking at here. Concerted Defense, I think, is going to be situational enough that I'm not going to play it. I'm also going to drop the equipment that we have. It's just a red equipment that gives +2/+0. It's nothing special. I'm glad we have all of this early disruption and removal, because our creatures are very heavily in the 4-drop slot, which means our deck's going to be a bit slower. Okay. I'm going to make a pile over here. I'm going to be playing all of these cards, but these are effectively just lands to me right now. We've got 4 of them, and we still have 24 cards. Considering one of these comes in untapped, I think I'm fine just leaving these in as they are, and then just adding basic lands. 6 and 6. Can I be at 12 lands with 4 of the backside duels? We have a lot of Field Researches. Maybe I can play all 3. If we're drawing a decent number of cards, I think I want 1 more land to make this work. We have 2 triple blue cards, but one of them is basically just an island the majority of the time. I think I want to cut 1 4-drop creature And I think I want to play another island. So bring in an island, and we will cut... Do we have any other rogues? No, but we have a lot of removal, so this is fair. I think I'm going to cut the Cascade Seer. We are going to try running this deck as is. Alright, wish me luck. Here we go. Alright, round 1. I think this is actually going to be a good hand. We will keep. We're a little bit slower, so we're kind of hoping we're not going against anybody super, super aggressive. Okay. We are going to start by playing islands, basically because we do have a triple blue card we're going to cast eventually, and it's probably going to happen sooner rather than later. Oh gosh, well... We're only running 13 official lands, so flooding like this is not natural. We are going to be taking a number of hits from this 3-1, which does suck. My opponent did not attack, and I have no idea why. We draw a Royal Eruption. Could they have removal? What would force them to do that? Why wouldn't they attack? It was only upside. Even if they have a fight spell, like, they could fight when it's tapped. The worst thing we could have done was bounce it. I don't know what's happening, and at this point I'm too scared to ask. So we're going to play Mystic and pass. This time they attack. Yeah, no blocks. Take 3 and go to 17. We untap. We draw another island. Okay, we're only 1 land away from playing Scorch Rider. It's not a wizard, so I don't need to play it pre-combat. We're only 1 land away from playing Lull Mage's Domination and taking the 3-1. We're just going to attack for 1 and play Scorch Rider. We're not blocking, so we're taking quite a bit of damage off of this 3-1, but it could be worse. Our opponent could have attacked that other turn. We could also save Lull Mage's Domination for something bigger. Royal Eruption is more than enough to take care of the Cell Sword. Yeah, still not blocking. My opponent must have some, like, ridiculous pump spells or just loads of protection or just lands in their hand. I don't understand, like, why they would be playing like this. The opponent plays Turn Timber Ascetic. Okay. We draw an Expedition Diviner. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the Cell Sword. I'm going to have to restart Moto again. Wizards, fix your program. We will attack with both to see if we can bait them into blocking. Like, it's okay if they block here, because we have removal and another wizard in queue. Alright, opponent does not block, they just take the damage. If we get to 7 mana, we can just delete this from orbit, or have a Lava Axe. I kind of like Royal Eruption as like a bigger burst lightning. Our opponent has a Journey to Oblivion, which is a great AWOL reference, by the way. AWOL from Unhinged Unglued, I don't remember which one specifically. Alright, they Rabid Bite to kill our guy. We're going to take 1 more big hit from that, and we're going to be pretty low on life total. Man, if we draw that 7 mana, draw cards equal to the number of cards in your hand, we'll actually be able to cast it, provided we don't die first. Okay, another Expedition Diviner. So we're going to play the Expedition Diviner, and I think we're actually going to stay back on defense. I was going to attack, but I've since changed my mind. I don't really want to double block. I think I probably should, though. I'd like to get the other Expedition Diviner down before double blocking, but that would just be throwing away a 3-1. The only way that goes wrong is if my opponent has removal for blocking creatures. So, if my opponent has removal but not a creature, we can kill this with Royal Eruption next turn. If they have removal and a creature, this is terrible for us. Okay. Opponent does have removal, kills the Cell Sword. I am so sorry, because this is like, if I were watching this, I would be upset because of the way that Moto is acting. I just don't have any control over this. Alright, hang on. I'm going to restart Moto and see if that helps. And we're back. Okay. So, we will Royal Eruption to take care of the... Oh my gosh, it's so much better. I'm so glad I restarted when I did. Royal Eruption the Turn Timber Ascetic to get rid of it. Oh god. That's a 6/6 with haste. And hexproof. That's something that's very hard to deal with. So we go down to 3. We're basically going to have to keep chump blocking that until the end of time. We can pump this guy twice, but he doesn't, it's not enough to kill the Baloth. Maybe we block with Expedition Diviner in case we draw land. Then we can triple pump to block. Regardless, we do have to block, so throw Expedition Diviner under the bus. I think that's actually the play. It's not great. That's even worse. We're probably dead. Pyroclastic Hellion. Yeah, that doesn't do it. Okay. Moving on to game 2. So one of the big problems our deck has is that we do not have a lot of early interaction, like, at all. I'm kind of tempted to run Cleansing Wildfire as just a cantrip. Something to do early. It could fix our own mana, technically, because it's not like it only hits non-basic lands. No, I think we just run it back. We have 3 field researches and we didn't hit them, which would have been nice because we would have been able to actually draw into, hopefully, something. Like, we could have kicked them for most of that game. Alright, we've got early removal. We have Seagate Restoration. I'm going to keep this. I really hope we draw red, though. I really like these Whirlpool Islands. Like, a lot. When it starts Plains. Okay, we draw a card we can't cast. Okay. The longer our opponent doesn't play something, the better it is for us. I'm going to play Teeter Peak Ambusher. It's possible that I just start casting removal here, at which point I want to keep Geyser Mage around for as long as possible, in case I draw enough lands to actually kick it. So go to combat, we'll attack, just activate this because none of our removal is instant speed. Alright. Hit our opponent for 3 again and pass. So we'll actually get to cast this game. That'll be fun. Opponent plays a McKindy Mesas. Looks like they don't have green. That's the cause of their primary problem right now. So go to combat. We could hit them for 5. I don't think we should. I think we just hit them for 3 and then play Mara Mystic. And we might be able to just Searing Spear our way to victory. Or I guess this would be Volcanic Hammer, because it's a sorcery. When it finds a forest and plays it, they play a Uraga Visionary. And we draw Kazul's Fury. So if we Royal Eruption, target their face, that's 3 and 3 is 6. We Royal Eruption again, that's 9, 10, 11. So we have lethal as long as our opponent does not have a Celestial Flare effect, or like a fog. Kazul's Fury is not quite lethal, but it might be a little safer. If we attack for 3 here, and our opponent can kill this, we can Fury to deal a bunch of damage and kill them with Royal Eruption on our next turn. I think we just go for the kill now. They're at pretty low if this doesn't work. Awesome, we got there. Alright, we're just going to run it back. I am liking the fact that we've been consistently getting to large numbers of mana, even though we only have 13 lands and then 4 potential lands. I actually think some of these cards are quite nice. And this effect, I'm really glad that Wizards, for the most part, has stuck the dual-faced land shenanigans onto cards that are, like, not optimal, of course. Like, if the Spike Field card, if that was a, like, Magma Spray that could turn into a land, that card would be insane. So I'm glad they kept it with, like, the 1 mana, 1 damage exile, and then a tap land on the back. I actually think that that's really cool that they did that. Alright, this is going to get terminated with Extreme Prejudice because I do not want my opponent ramping. Okay, we untap. Unfortunately, I do have to play Seagate as a land. I won't be casting it as a spell this turn, and we will Divination. Trying to make sure that we hit our land drops here. Next turn, we can play an Umara Mystic and leave up Spell Shield, which only will give it more toughness, but that will protect it from some things. We did draw Lull Mage's Domination, which will be coming down soon. Yeah, I think we just do this. If my opponent attacks, we can cast Spell Shield and block. It doesn't give hexproof unless it's kicked, but I think the toughness is going to be enough to stop the Sellsword. Alternatively, we can just take the hit, and if we draw a land next turn, we can Lull Mage's Domination. I think we should save that for something bigger, though, so let's try this. We do have Kazul's Fury as a land, which is one reason why that's great. Opponent puts a 1/1 counter on it. We'll spell shield, which pumps the power quite a bit here. All right, so that was a 2-for-1, which is pretty sweet. Opponent plays a land. We untap. We draw a mountain. Okay, so we play the mountain, and now we have a 3/3 with flash that we can play, or we can play Kazul's Fury if we have to. So we're just going to get in for 1 for now, and flash in the 3/3 on our opponent's end step. The worst case scenario is my opponent has the 6/6 Baloth that they could play this turn off of a land. Nahiri's Binding. Well, Kazul's Fury gives us a way to still utilize this creature later. I think this is fine. If we draw a land next turn, we can kick Scorch Rider and do a whole bunch of damage. Ooh, Morag, Fury of Akum. We're going to attack for 3, and I think we're just going to cast Scorch Rider. I don't want to play Kazul's Fury as a land yet. I think I want to save a land for playing Morag. Okay, opponent plays a Turn Timber Ascetic, gains some life. We untap, we draw a mountain. All right. So go to combat, attack for 3 in the air. Now, playing Kazul's Fury as a tap land next turn will be really dirty. Okay, opponent makes us each draw. We draw another Umara Mystic. We can steal that Farsight Adept with Lull Mage's Domination. And they kill Living Tempest, which sucks. Pyroclastic Hellion. Okay, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, if it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase. At the beginning of that combat, untap all creatures you control. So if I play a land now, I have an additional combat phase before the regular combat phase, but my creatures won't untap. So I have to attack first. In that case, let's go ahead and steal this guy. Go to combat. Attack for a lot, and opponent scoops it up. All right. I'll see you guys in round 2. I like this deck. This deck seems sweet. All right, we'd love to play first. Spikefield Hazard's kind of nice. I think this hand's actually quite good. We'll keep. I'm going to start Mountain, just in case I want to Spikefield, but no reason to yet. Man, look at the power of this hand. We have all of these can just be lands if we don't need them, and they're really not bad effects. Okay, opponent starts a Branch Loft Pathway. They have a green-white duel. And tap and we draw another mountain. I think as long as we're drawing these regular lands, we don't even need to like play the tap lands unless they line up a little bit better. So I think next turn, I might play Spikefield Hazard or Kazul's Fury as a tap land to play Scorch Rider on 4. Okay. Rockslide Sorcerer. Okay, that does cause me to reevaluate a little bit. I think playing Kazul's Fury here is fine. Or as Kazul Cliffs. Alright, opponent gives one of their clerics indestructible and attacks in. That's fine. So we untap. We'll take 2, they gain 2. We untap. We draw a mountain, so play a mountain. And I'm going to play Rockslide Sorcerer because between it and Spikefield Hazard, we can kill one of their creatures. It also has enough toughness to block an Expedition Healer safely, as long as my opponent does not have a combat trick, of course. Okay, opponent plays another land. Wow, okay, Yasharn Implacable Earth. Opponent attacks for 3, no blocks. We untap, we draw an Expedition Diviner, play a mountain, play the Diviner. Whenever you cast an instant, sorcery, or wizard spell. Wow, okay. We're just going to ping our opponent. And this Spikefield Hazard's going to do work. Okay, opponent untaps. Players can't pay life for sacrifice non-land permanents to cast spells or activate abilities. I don't think that affects us. Not immediately, anyway. Opponent is going to Rabid Bite. Okay. Well, in that case, we have to use Spikefield Hazard now. No, we don't. Is it better to, though? So here's a question. We can take out a 3-2. Stop them from having lifelink, but we're going to get smacked for 4 damage. Man, that kind of sucks. We're going to take 5 if we block down the big dude and Spikefield Hazard it. I think we take out their 2 other creatures. So Spikefield Hazard will deal 2 damage there. Okay. If they attack with the Expedition Healer, I might actually trade. No, we gotta hold on to this for a minute. They have more spells? Oh, they picked up their... Oh gosh, okay. They picked up their guy that makes stuff indestructible. Okay, play an island. We are going to cast this. I'm not going to kick it because we are not attacking. Pass the turn. I guess I should have played Seagate Restoration tapped. Because now if I have to play it untapped, we're probably boned. Because I'd go down to like 2 to do that. Oh, gross. I also think this card is very good. 3 mana Regrowth. Like, Regrowth is an effect that is occasionally playable in some oddball strategies. But 3 mana Regrowth or Tapland strikes me as a combination that's very good. Alright, another Rabid Bite I think seals the deal here. Surprised they didn't make their guy indestructible. We'll force the trade. And they kick Reclaim the Wastes. Okay, so they get 2 lands. They still have their Angel Heart Cleric. Draw Field Research, which is not going to be good. I should have done this in the opposite order. This is so painful, and if I lose because of it, it's absolutely my own fault. We'll take their guy. If they only have 1 creature to play next turn, we can at least block, like, have a creature that would threaten to block the Angel Heart Cleric when it eventually attacks. And if we can buy a turn to kick Field Research here, we could draw 3 cards. It might be too risky to kick it. We might just have to cast it and draw 2. Oh gosh, something else big. A 5/6 Spring Mantle Cleric. That does not inspire confidence. Okay, we're just going to we're not going to kick Field Research, we're just going to draw. Living Tempest, Royal Eruption. Royal Eruption can't even kill that, which is a problem. So we'll play the Teeter Peak Ambusher and pass. When it plays a forest, they attack for 5. Hey, knock it off. I hope somebody was doing something they felt slightly guilty about, and me scolding my dog came off as me scolding them and gave them a fright. I think that'd be hilarious. So, this sucks. We're going to have to just trade off their guy. So we'll kick to kill the 5/5, and we have to just throw this guy away, which sucks. Because if we got to next turn, we could actually double block it, and then save whatever we blocked with. The extra 3 damage from the land that I didn't sequence properly has not been relevant yet. Like, if we were at 6 life, we could have taken a hit from one of those creatures, and we could have done the Living Tempest block, but I think that was the only choice in life we had to lose, really. Like, if this was a 4/5 instead of a 5/6, that would missequencing this land would have absolutely made the difference, but right now it hasn't. They play the Canyon Mouse. They play a land to pump their guys. They get in. We block. Okay, we untap. We draw a land that's not useful, and we're gonna scoop it up. All right. My opponent has a lot of things that are really annoying, so I think the concerted defense here might actually be good. Question is, what do I cut for it? I want to run it. It's not as good as the Disruption. In fact, it's not as good as Spell Shield either. Maybe we don't sideboard it. Let's just run it back. There's a lot of cards in our deck that we have not drawn yet. I'd like to play first. I think this hand is great. We'll keep. Start Mountain. Pass the turn. Okay, let's see what our opponent plays. It's a Forest. We'll play an Island. We do have the sensor, so, I mean, not in our hand, but we do have it in the deck, so it's worth representing this consistently. One thing that a lot of people may or may not notice is if you're playing against people who are new to the game that don't know the cards, representing counter spells like this and other effects is not as important against new players as it is against experienced players. You can sometimes jank out people who are like near pro level. If you know what cards are in the format and you telegraph them super hard, you can force them to play around them if they're afraid of that card. It's a little bit of a mind game. Doesn't work on new players, works on experienced players, though. So, something you should be aware of. Alright, I am going to censor this. This card's going in Battle of Wits, by the way. Absolutely. Alright, we untap. We draw the Umara Mystic. So we can either play the Spitfire Lagak, or we can play the Mystic and leave up Spell Shield. If we draw a land next turn, we can play Mystic and leave up Kicked Spell Shield. So I actually think that's probably the thing we're going to do. So play the Lagak, pass the turn. We can use the Spikefield Hazard if we have to, but we know our opponent is playing X1s. So, okay, our opponent plays an Expedition Healer and a Dauntless Survivor, putting a 1/1 counter on the healer. Okay, we untap and draw a Sure-Footed Infiltrator. I think... let's attack first. If my opponent double blocks, we're really going to get him. Okay, they don't block at all. That's fair. So we will play the Mystic and leave up Spell Shield. We don't need 5 mana next turn, and in fact, I think the Spikefield Hazard is going to be better offensively. Okay, opponent plays another Forest. Goes to combat. Did my opponent have pump spells during combat? I know they have a lot of Rabid Bites, but I don't know that I saw any, so we're going to try and get them here. Awesome. Okay, opponent kicks a Reclaim the Wastes, gets 2 planes, and passes. So we untap, we draw Teeter Peak. Let's go ahead and go for the big damage this turn. Draw some cards. Sweet. Play a land, ping our opponent. Let's go ahead and Spikefield Hazard to kill the Dauntless Survivor. Go to combat. And attack for 8. Opponent plays a Myriad Construct. When it becomes the target of a spell, sack it and create a number of 1/1 construct tokens equal to its power. Okay. Play an island, ping our opponent. Play an ambusher. Let's attack for 1. I think I'm going to leave up Kazul's Fury rather than play out this Infiltrator, because if my opponent casts, like, I'm sure there's some kicker pump spell that does a lot. No, actually, that would cause them to sack their own construct. Interesting. When it plays a land. Tazim Raptor. Okay. They can pick up a land if they want to. There's no reason for them to, I don't think. Yeah, not when they already played a land this turn. There's, like, some edge cases where you might want to, like, float black mana, pick up your swamp, replay it, get double black, and then cast something that, you know, you're splashing that's odd. But, like, other than that, unless you're picking up your modal dual-faced cards in this format, it's generally not a good idea to pick up Tazim Raptor. Pick up with Tazim Raptor, unless you have some really good, what is this? Oh, they're picking up the Brood again. Okay. Unless you have some really good landfall triggers is what I was going to say. Alright, we untap. We draw Morag. Go to combat. Attack for 1 in the air. Play Morag. Alright, pass the turn. Opponent plays an Orion Reef Ooze. Put a 1/1 counter on a creature you control. Okay, they upgrade the Raptor, and they play Mirasa Brute. Alright, well I think we just fling for victory. Target our opponent. Pay the cost. Sack Morag. Kill our opponent. Alright. And we'll just run it back. I think this hand's okay. It's not amazing, though. Opponent starts by reclaiming the waste to pick up a plains. Yep, okay. Play an island, pass the turn. Opponent plays a plains into their expedition healer. We play a mountain, pass the turn. Basically, if they tap out for anything, we'll use Juari Disruption. Juari. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Okay, opponent decides to attack. That's fine. We got nothing. Territorial Scythe Cat. I will counter that. And I'm hoping we draw something we can play off 3 mana here. Okay, just get an island, so play an island, pass the turn. I think we will start with the Sure-Footed Infiltrator. It's not likely that it'll swing in and be able to get in, but if my opponent is aggressive and leaves back only 1 blocker and we draw removal, the upside of drawing additional cards would be pretty awesome. Alright, opponent gets Yasharn. We untap. We draw Spikefield Hazard. So play a mountain. Play the Infiltrator. Pass the turn. Really hoping that my opponent does not have, like, Rabid Bites or anything like that right now. So they played a plains that they searched up before, so they're just holding in a forest as far as we're aware. I don't know what's happening because Moto is, like, giving up right now. Okay, opponent gets in for 4. Take 4. We untap. We draw a mountain. So, play an island. Cast without kicker. Leave up Spell Shield. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent plays an Orient Reef Ooze, putting a counter on the Expedition Healer. It'll go to combat and attack. If we want to prevent more damage, we can block multiple things, but I'm kind of interested in double blocking that Veteran Adventurer. Whatever creature they put in front, we Spell Shield. Okay, so we take 7 and we go to 5. And our opponent plays a Raptor, choosing not to use its ability. Okay, we untap. We draw a Synchronized Spellcraft with Party 2. We can use that to kill Yasharn, Implaceable Earth. It will deal 2 damage to our opponent. That Ooze might be a problem, though. I think we still have to do this. Okay, we'll leave up the Spikefield Hazard. Because if they attack with the Ooze, we can just block it down with the Sure-Footed Infiltrator. And if they have the 1 mana green, put a 1/1 counter on it, spell, we can use Scorch Rider and Spikefield Hazard to take out the Cleric. We get hit with the Raptor, though, regardless. Our opponent is running low on cards. Okay, they play Boulder Loft Pathway. This is where, theoretically, if my opponent is not casting absurd spells like this, and we draw, like, our Mind Control... Oh man, if we draw our Mind Control from this position, we're in a fantastic spot. Okay. Opponent only attacks us for 2. Okay, Mind Control off the top, 1 time. Cunning Geyser Mage. Alright, play a mountain. And buys us a turn. We can bounce the Skyclave Sentinel. Which in hindsight, I probably should have picked one of those considering how slow this deck ended up being. It just was not very high on that card at the moment. I am going to attack here. If my opponent blocks, that's fine. If they double block, we can kill both. And if they swing back at us, we can kill both of their creatures. Other than the Raptor, of course. We still have to draw the Mind Control to win. But that was a safe attack. Unless, of course, everyone who's playing green has that 6/6 Baloth with haste. Or McKindy Stampede. That'll do it. Alright. Opponent got us. See you guys in round 3. Alright. Round 3. Here we go. Super excited because at the time of this recording, we have officially crossed the 1/3 of the way to monetization mark on YouTube. We're at 334 subscribers. I'm super stoked about that because like a month ago, I had less than 200, and I am absolutely thrilled. So thank you all who have subbed to me recently and who have subbed to me at all, of course. You're all wonderful human beings, and I really appreciate the support. All right, well, we mulliganed all lands into all spells, and 1 land, technically. If we had an island in this hand, I would really consider like keeping and just putting back like Pyroclastic Hellion. But it also mulligans to 6. We go to 5. I will keep this. We'll put back a Diviner and an island. And considering how slow the game is running again, I think I actually have to restart Moto again. Okay, no, it's like sped back up. Cool. Play an island, pass the turn. We'll basically use this disruption whenever we can to get value. Okay, opponent starts Swamp. Play an island. Pass the turn. Opponent plays an island, so they're probably playing the Rogue's archetype. Thieving Skydiver, Flying Merfolk Rogue. Well, get disrupted. Play an island. Pass the turn. Yeah, I'm going to restart Moto again. This is ridiculous. And we're back. Okay. Wow, look at that. Lightning fast. Yeah, something they've introduced is like, definitely got some memory leaks in the client. That's basically what happens. The, like, longer something's on, the less memory, like, if you have a problem reclaiming memory in your program, which I would not doubt with a program as old as Moto, even on modern compilers. The longer it's on, the more memory you leak, which means the slower it'll go, and the best thing you can do is restart it. Because look at that, look how much faster that is. And look at how fast it, like, deteriorated. Because I restarted once during this league, and the footage, the raw footage at this point, is somewhere in, like, the hour and a half, 2 hour mark, I guess? We'll say hour and a half. Okay, I'm not going to block. Opponent hits us for 2. And they play a flying 2/2. We can't kick Geyser Mage, but we can play it. I am going to, because this way if they block, we get to draw a card. Realized I F6 when I definitely shouldn't have, because we needed to play an island. Pass the turn. Fun random magic fact. You should not play lands with different arts. The advantage is actually tactical. If your opponent is playing cards like Duress that lets them look at your hand, and they see an island of one art, and you draw an island of a different art, and you play that different art, you let your opponent know what you drew that turn. If all of your lands are the same, it doesn't matter, and it's impossible for you to make that mistake. Alright, we are going to cast a Field Research, play Kazul Cliffs, go to combat, and I think just attack for 6. No, we'll just attack for 3 in the air. Okay, another Shadow Stinger. We'll take the damage. Oh gosh, I didn't realize that that had more text on it. I thought that that was only the Death Touch one. That's pretty bad. That means as soon as we cast another spell, this is going to become huge. So now we have to either use our removal to clear the way to deal damage, or we have to use our removal to kill the flyer. I mean, if we kill the flyer, they just equip to their other one, right? Alright. Let's kill this one. Then we'll play Sure-Footed Infiltrator. Pass the turn. That gives us 2 creatures that can block attacking rogues, as long as they don't leave one back. And we can double block to kill one if they do that. If they attack with Nimana Skydancer, we are going to block with Expedition Diviner. Also, I hate this light blue text, Because it, like, on every card that it's shown up on, especially the stupid 2-mana 2/2 rogue that gains death touch as long as you have another rogue, it's, like, impossible to see. Wizards needs to fix that, because that is going to drive me nuts with how much I play Moto. Okay, opponent re-equips onto Shadow Stinger. In this case, I think... Oof. I think we got a block like that. If we draw another removal spell, we can then attack in to draw a card. Okay, they got us a Scorch Rider. And a Mystic. Alright, play the Mystic. Just because we can block the flyer. Pass the turn. Opponent is milling us for a lot, though. Okay. So that guy we have to block. I'm going to double block. If my opponent keeps this order, we can actually spell shield the first one and save both. Or save one, excuse me. We can save the Mystic, we don't save both. What? Did they change how that rule works? I thought that only worked with Trample. No, I misremembered that rule. No, it does work like that. My bad. And we can only block one, and both creatures are lethal, so we're going to concede and go to game 2. For some reason, I was thinking you had to assign all of the damage to the first creature, and you don't. Yeah, we don't have any sideboard for this, so we're just going to run it back and hope for a better hand. Alright, we'll play first. Yeah, I think this hand will do. I am going to start with Spikefield Hazard as a land, because we only have the 3 lands in hand, and I really need my mana to come in untapped. We draw a swamp, play an island, pass the turn. This extra island we just drew kind of made that a little bit silly, but at the same time, I'm still glad my lands are going to come in untapped. Okay. I am going to... No, I don't have to. I can play the Mystic this turn. Okay, pass the turn. So we can block the Skydiver as long as they don't have the Mind Cleaver, or whatever it's called, I don't remember. Okay. We can Royal Eruption, but I think it's just better if we just play a Expedition Diviner. Oh, that's right. In that case, we can just start getting aggressive. I forgot this got pumped when I cast Wizards. In my mind, I was like, literally, it's just we Dragonauts. Like, instants and sorceries only. Okay, opponent gets in for 2, no blocks. We untap and draw a Field Research. I'm going to cast Field Research and try and hit an untapped land here. Okay, no luck. Let's attack for 6. Playing Expedition Diviner was probably better in that scenario, because it makes our next swing bigger. It also makes so that no matter what, if one of them dies, we do draw a card at least. Okay, opponent attacks for 5, they will get to draw an additional card this way. If we draw an island, we can steal one of their guys. They play a Wind Rider Wizard and a Merfolk Wind Robber. Okay. And a Bubble Snare. That's actually quite unfortunate. Wow, our opponent's deck is very mana efficient. Okay, we get a Spell Shield. If we play Royal Eruption, we can't play anything else except Spell Shield. We can play another Diviner and attack. That would at least trade if my opponent... I think that's fine. Let's do that. Go to combat, attack for 3. My opponent would have to double block to kill it. They do not, they go to 8. Okay. It's possible, if my opponent does not leave back a flying blocker, that we can actually kill our opponent next turn. No blocks. We'll just take the damage. They draw a card. I suspect they'll have removal, though. Blood Priest, they drain us. We draw another Royal Eruption, so that's 3, 6, 11. Yeah, that should kill our opponent. So cast Royal Eruption. It's our only chance to do this. If my opponent has removal or any counter spell, of course, we're done. But my opponent did not leave back any flyers. All right, they had the Sky Dancer. Very close. Fortunately, that means they got us. Man, that Rogues deck is kind of disgusting. Very good tempo. So unfortunately, 1 and 2, I thought our deck was kind of sweet. It just lacked a little bit in the early game department, which I think overall is what hindered us enough that we lost. We did get some cool cards. We got Morag, we got the Seagate, so those will be contributing to decks that I build in the future. I mean, maybe not Morag, but the Seagate Restoration, definitely. All in all, I think I should have drafted some more creatures, and I definitely should have drafted some more 1-2 drops. I think the 3 mana flying blocker artifact creature is actually better than I gave it credit for, and had I had it in this deck instead of a field research, I would have had a much better time. So, don't underestimate that card, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. That would be my advice that I learned from this league. Anyway, if you like this content, you want to see more like it, please leave a like, drop a comment, anything you can do, let me know. I'll probably respond to you if you message me. And subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined. Like I said, we're a third of the way to the monetization, and every single subscription helps. It doesn't cost you anything, and it supports me, and I really appreciate it if you do. You can also follow me on Twitch, same username over there as you can find me on here. I usually stream Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm looking into streaming more than once a week, but I'm still getting in the groove of things after my real life shift, so we'll see how this goes. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!